81% of women in the United States face sexual abuse. That 1 in 5 women in the United States will either be raped or there's going to be an attempt of rape against them. Why are women not allowed to travel without a mahram? Any exceptions? I plan to study away from home within the next few years. Someone else said, why do women always need a male companion for travel? Is it applicable at this time? Very good question. Someone else said, some people say with cameras and security now, traveling with a mahram is no longer required. And many are sending their kids without mahram to colleges. What are your thoughts? Okay. Generally speaking, it seems to be an issue of consensus among the early Muslims, the early jurists, that it's not permissible for a woman to travel without a mahram. There are very clear hadiths in the Sahih where the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he says, وَلَا تُسَافِرُ الْمَرْأَةُ إِلَّا مَعَ ذِي مَحْرَمٍ. A woman must not travel except with a mahram. There's even one hadith in the Sahih where a man, he is enlisted to fight in one of the battles, and he said to the Messenger of Allah, he says, Ya Rasulullah, inna imra'ati kharajat hajjah. He said, Messenger of Allah, my wife, she is traveling on her way to make hajj. وَإِنِّكْ تُتِبْتُ فِي غَزْوَةِ كَذَا وَكَذَا. And he said, Messenger of Allah, I was enlisted to fight in such and such battle. The Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said to the man, he says, انطلق فحج مع امرأتك. He said to the man, leave the battle right now and go make hajj with your wife. Okay? There are very clear hadiths on this, but the first thing we need to address is what is meant by travel. This doesn't mean going down to the supermarket. It doesn't mean going to school. It doesn't mean going to work. If these areas are not considered safar or a journey. We're talking about a long journey here. A journey that the vast majority of scholars, they stipulated the distance to be approximately 50 miles. Like that's the journey that we're talking about. Something that's very far. It's not your local, place that you're going to shop, or it's not the place that you work locally, or the place that you go to school. That's what's referred to here by travel. It doesn't mean you just go down the street to the masjid, right? In fact, there are cases where the Messenger of Allah, he said, لا تمنعوا إماء الله مساجد الله. The Messenger of Allah, he said, do not forbid the female servants of Allah from going to the masjids of Allah, from the mosques, right? So that's what's meant by travel. Now someone may say, well, that was applicable 1400 years ago. Nowadays we have security cameras, right? We have so many different advancements. There's one study, it's a modern study, I forget the name of the organization, but it's a national organization against sexual violence against women. They did a study and they showed that 81% of women in the United States, not 1400 years ago, but today, 81% of women face sexual abuse. Somewhere, in their lives, whether it's school, work, public places, 81% of women face it, and only 43% of men face it. According to the same organization, they also stated that 1 in 5 women in the United States will either be raped or there's going to be an attempt of rape against them. That's 1 in 5. That means statistically, if you have a room of how many women we have in this room, statistically, according to the statistics, 1 in 5, that's a lot of people. This is in our modern society. Don't think that just because we have cameras and all of this, then, it doesn't apply anymore. No. So this ruling has been in place to protect women from what we know happens based on these statistics and just our everyday lived experience. I'm sure if I were to ask the sisters who faced, kinds of sexual abuse, right? I'm sure that there would be a lot of people that would raise their hands, right? So this is something that is a reality in our society, and that's why you have this ruling. It's not to put down the woman or anything like that. It's to allow there to be protection for her whenever she travels. And remember, I mentioned that this only applies to going on a long journey, right? This is not just going down the store or to the workplace or to school. So it's still applicable today, wallahu a'lam, and Allah knows best.